Welcome to this deep dive. Michelle Trachtenberg. We're going to be taking a look back at her life and career. Sadly, she passed away recently.
Yeah.
Only 39.
I know.
Which makes it even more shocking.
Absolutely.
We've got a few articles here detailing some of her career highlights and the circumstances surrounding her passing.
Right.
So get ready for some serious 90s nostalgia.
Definitely a tough one.
Yeah.
The NYPD reports she was found unresponsive
Okay.
in her Manhattan apartment.
Oh, wow.
No signs of foul play, but the official cause of death is still pending.
So lots still unknown then.
Yeah.
But for now, let's shift gears a little bit and focus on her incredible career.
Okay.
You know, she really was a part of so many projects that defined our childhoods and teen years.
For sure.
Harriet the Spy, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Gossip Girl. I mean,
Right.
she was in everything.
It really does seem to map onto like key moments
I know.
in pop culture.
It really does.
But was she drawn to these projects? Or did she have this talent for making anything feel
Yeah.
zeitgeisty?
That's a good question.
You think about it.
Yeah.
She starred in Nickelodeon's first feature film,
Yeah.
Harriet the Spy,
That's right.
and had Rosie O'Donnell, a huge star at the time,
Oh, yeah.
as a mentor.
Wow. So that early success is fascinating.
It is.
And it's not just the roles themselves.
No.
I mean, think about the impact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she actually talked about how people would tell her Harriet the Spy inspired them to become writers.
Oh, wow.
Rosie O'Donnell even said her death was heartbreaking and that she loved her very much.
That speaks to a real connection with the audience.
Right.
Even at such a young age,
Even at a young age.
that kind of impact is rare.
It really is.
Yeah.
And then there's Buffy.
Uh-huh.
I remember when her character Dawn was introduced.
That's right.
Some fans weren't thrilled.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But she had this great sense of humor about it, joking years later that most of the haters don't have the guts to say things in person.
That's funny.
She even had a witty response for those who called Dawn whiny,
What was that?
asking, "Hi, were you a teenager?"
Well, that's good.
Which, let's be honest, is
Yeah.
a fair point.
Totally.
Teenage girls.
It's interesting how she seemed to navigate those criticisms with grace
Yeah,
and even use them to connect with fans on another level.
I think so.
But let's talk about the trajectory of her roles as she matured.
Okay.
We've got sources here that show this huge range from Nickelodeon to Eurotrip to 6 Feet Under.
Yeah, Eurotrip.
Do you think she was consciously trying to break away from the child star image?
Right.
Or was she just drawn to those specific projects?
That's a great question.
Yeah. It's hard to say, definitively
Yeah.
what motivated her choices.
Right.
But it's clear that she wasn't content to be pigeonholed.
No.
There's a definite sense of exploration in her filmography.
Definitely. And Eurotrip, I think, is such a great example of that.
Oh, yeah.
A raunchy comedy.
Totally.
Totally different from anything she'd done before.
Right.
It feels like a deliberate step outside of her comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you have 6 Feet Under,
Right.
a show known for its mature themes
Yes.
and complex characters.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see her taking on such a different type of role.
Do you think she was trying to prove something?
Maybe.
To show that she was more than just a former child star?
It's possible. But
Yeah.
I also think that she was genuinely drawn to challenging roles.
Right.
She seems to have had a real passion for exploring the full range of human experience through her work.
And speaking of range,
Yeah.
we can't forget about Gossip Girl.
Right.
Her portrayal of Georgina Sparks, the ultimate schemer,
Oh, come on.
is iconic.
It's so good.
It feels like that role cemented her status as a versatile actress capable of playing both good and bad.
It's interesting about that role is that it taps into that
Yeah.
mischievous energy that we saw hints of in her earlier work. Remember that quote you shared about Harriet the Spy?
Yeah,
It's almost like she was channeling some of that same rebellious spirit into Georgina.
that's a really cool connection.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if she was drawn to characters that were a little bit subversive,
Yeah,
a little bit outside the norm,
for sure.
you know?
And don't forget, she reprised the role for the Gossip Girl reboot.
That's right, she did.
That's not something every actor does,
No,
especially years later.
right.
It suggests that she really connected with that character.
She did seem to have a lot of fun playing the villain.
Yeah.
I remember her saying, it's kind of easy to be evil when you're saying evil things. It's definitely a lot more fun than playing the good girl.
Right.
Yeah.
That playful energy definitely translated on screen,
Hmm.
and it resonated with audiences.
Yeah.
Georgina Sparks became a fan favorite even though she was technically the antagonist.
You know, thinking about her career arc, it's almost like she was constantly pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
Challenging expectations. She started in family-friendly fare,
Right.
then embraced more mature roles,
Yeah.
and eventually found this incredible niche playing complex, sometimes villainous characters. It's a pretty remarkable journey.
And one that was cut tragically short.
I know.
Makes you wonder what she might have accomplished if she'd been given more time.
It's heartbreaking to think about all the roles that she might have taken on,
Yeah.
the stories she might have told.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But let's not dwell on what could have been.
Okay.
Instead, let's celebrate what she did achieve in her time.
Okay.
Her career, though relatively short,
Yeah.
was incredibly impactful.
Right.
She left an undeniable mark on pop culture.
Absolutely. She was a part of so many projects that shaped our collective memory, whether we grew up watching Harriet the Spy or became obsessed with Gossip Girl in our teens.
Right.
And her willingness to push boundaries, to take risks, is something to be admired.
It's a reminder that a career isn't just about longevity, it's about impact. And Michelle Trachtenberg certainly made an impact.
And it really is incredible to think about, like, the breadth of her work. We've talked about the big roles.
Right.
Harriet, Buffy, Gossip Girl. But she did so much more.
She did.
Indie films, guest starred on popular shows, even did some voice acting.
It speaks to a real work ethic.
Yeah.
And a desire to constantly challenge herself. She didn't shy away from trying new things, even if they were outside of her typical genre.
And that's something I find really inspiring.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't let herself be defined by any one role or any one genre, always evolving as an actress.
Exactly. And that makes it even more heartbreaking to think about what might have come next.
I know.
She was only 39.
It felt like she was just hitting her stride. Based on what we've discussed, what do you think her next move would have been? Would she have leaned into more mature roles? Gone behind the camera? It's something to think about.
Well, she did mention in an interview that she was interested in producing and directing.
Wow.
So maybe that would have been her next step.
Yeah.
Or perhaps she would have surprised us all.
Right.
By taking on a completely different kind of role.
Yeah.
She was full of surprises.
Remember that last social media post of hers?
I do. Yeah.
The one with the Cinderella theme?
Yes.
It's so poignant now seeing her reflect on that magical night in New York and wishing everyone an ethereal weekend.
It adds another layer of sadness to her passing. It's a reminder that she was a real person with hopes and dreams and a life outside of the roles that she played.
It's a good reminder for all of us, I think. Sometimes it's easy to forget that the people we see on screen are just the people with their own complexities and vulnerability.
Absolutely. And Michelle Trachtenberg, despite her talent and success, was no exception. Her death is a loss not only for the entertainment industry, but for everyone who was touched by her work.
Well said. And on that note, listener, we want to hear from you.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on Trachtenberg's career? What role resonated most with you?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Let's discuss.
This deep dive has been a bittersweet journey exploring the highs and lows of a life cut short. Michelle Trachtenberg may be gone, but her legacy as an actress and a person will undoubtedly live on.